Ozzy and Jacob bundle, because it's a mystery bundle and they're questionable guys, if I say so myself.
Best bundle.
Best bundle.
I mean, so the giveaway is open to counselors as well. So if you would like to enter, please do so, as the contest ends today at 11:59. So that's me. Thanks.
Good, thank you. In my year and a half of doing this, this is the first announcement we've ever had at CUSA Council. So, all right. And I'm seeing the screen. Are y'all good on your end, Farouk?
Yeah, should be good.
All right, perfect. All right. I see no more announcements. I see no more announcements. So moving on. I need someone to approve the agenda, please. Thank you, Koila. I can have someone to second that. Thank you, Emma. All in favor? Thank you. Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, motion passes. I need someone to approve the past minutes, please. Thank you, Sarah. Can I have someone to second that? Thank you, Tinu. All in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, motion passes. And we're going to move on to the president's report.
Hello, everybody. So good to be with you today. Excited to share all of what we've been working on. Before I get started, I would like to recognize and say a tremendous thank you to two of our counselors, Liam Lowe and Sarah Harvey, for their work on the CUSA Hardship Fund Committee. I have heard of the countless hours, the tens of hours that you've spent sifting through applications. I know there's been hundreds and hundreds of applications, so I just want to say thank you so much. It wouldn't be possible without you. And for counselors who expressed interest and were not part of and are not part of the committee right now, we are looking to, as you know, we literally launched this like a month ago, so we're looking to figure out a better structure for making it a bit more efficient and a bit less heavy for the counselors that are on this committee. So if you're really interested and you haven't gotten a chance to participate yet, we'll be probably reaching out soon to find more counselors to get involved. So in terms of the hardship fund, we have allocated officially over $40,000 to students in need. So this has been a tremendous accomplishment and also just a very humbling experience. Although I'm not part of the committee and all applicants remain anonymous, I know that the people who are part of the committee have shared with me that it's really shown how hard COVID is hitting our students and how it's really been a challenging time for a lot of us. So it's been a stark reminder of how many students are in need, and we're looking to allocate a lot more funds to the hardship fund. And so for the moment, we are participating in Giving Tuesday, where all donations will be matched by the university. So if you know any alumni or anyone who might like to donate to this cause, please let them know about Giving Tuesday, which is on December 1st. Additionally, our COVID support continues. I'll let you read through that. I put a lot of stuff in my report. I'm just gonna skim, but please read through the minutes if you want more details. Divestment, again, a major priority throughout my term so far. We had a successful meeting with administration on October 28th, and they agreed to share the schedule of investments with us. So that's like the list of companies they're invested in. So we've been getting that information in pieces from them and are trying to sift through it all, but definitely a good percentage of the university's investments are directly in fossil fuels. So now that we have more information on that, we'll be able to lobby with a more informed perspective. They also offered us an opportunity to present at the Board of Governors Investment Committee on December 11th, which will be the key body to advise all governors on the BOG whether divestment is a good idea or not. So we're preparing a lot for that. So one thing we're doing is trying to confirm and centralize student support. So we're working on a letter that has student groups signing onto it. We're also looking on a department and faculty letter, so that when we come on December 11th, we can like show the two letters and be like, look, people actually support this. So if you're a member of a club that you think would like to endorse a divestment campaign, reach out to me because we'd love to have your official support. We also had a divestment webinar last week. Thanks to all of you who came out. It was a big success, so it's exciting to see the movement grow. In terms of compassionate grading, you all know the motions were passed at last Senate meeting. We also had the Canadian Federation of Students National General Meeting. Tina will touch more on that. In terms of Fund Key, I've had a few students reach out with their concerns in terms of that student fee. So I've been discussing with Millie Close, the Science Society president, and responding to students' concerns. And I also met with Fund Key today, just actually like an hour ago, and they'll be providing more information and adjusting their process significantly for the next semester in order to make their opt-out process much more visible and lengthier, so that students are more aware of it if they would like to opt out. So I am working really hard on that file, and if you are concerned about it, please reach out. I had my monthly meeting with Suzanne Blanchard, the Vice President of Students and Engagement, and we discussed promoting the CUSA elections because we are aware that a lot of students aren't in touch with what we're doing right now, and we're quite concerned about making sure students are aware that elections are happening. So the university will hopefully be helping us like reach out directly to deans, to faculty, to students via email, because obviously as CUSA we don't have access to any student email, so it can be challenging to reach students. So the university is hoping, or we're hoping the university is going to help us with that. Again though, CUSA elections are coming in January. If you have any concerns or thoughts, please reach out to the electoral office, which are the independent officers who run elections. Their email is elections@cusaonline.ca, so that it can be your key contacts for anything CUSA election, whether that's council or executive. I had a great meeting with my fellow presidents of CASHU, ROS, BSS, CSCS, and SciSoc, and we discussed tons of areas for collaboration. So that was a very heartening meeting. Also been part of some hiring boards recently. You can keep scrolling, Farouk. And participate in Mask Up or Pack Up with Raw. Thank you for reaching out for us to that. Raw execs also filmed part of the Remembrance Day ceremony, the Spirit of the Youth Award ceremony. I completed my mentorship program with my first year mentees, completed the review of the CUSA Inc. audit, which will be presented later today, and with Tinu helped launch the #Normalize campaign, which is our effort to promote mental health throughout the year beyond the Pop the Stigma campaign that happens in October. And then in terms of the month ahead, I will be filming the State of the Union, so stay tuned for that. Feel free to share with people who are wondering what we're doing here at CUSA. I'll be working on the midterm report for our next council. I'll be working on promoting Giving Tuesday in order to replenish the hardship fund, preparing for the divestment investment committee. Yeah, presentation on December 11th, and building momentum around that campaign. If, as always, please reach out. Would love to chat, set up a meeting. That's my email, press@cusaonline.ca. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Moving on to the VP Finance report.
Awesome. Let me pull up my screen here too. What's going on, everyone? There we go. So for my report for the past month, oh, thanks for getting the date there. So for the past month, it's been a popular one on this this docket here, but student union building. So we are going through some initial consultations there, and also a little bit of rebranding and kind of like what we really do kind of like want this to be. So far we've started reaching out to a few clubs and societies to meet with their members, see what they think would be a benefit if we were to put a new building on campus. And again, just see if there's even that genuine interest, whether we should go forward or not. As well as we've started creating an internal plan for assessment in regards to like communication and like measuring data and all this stuff to really find out kind of like what people are looking for. As Kathleen touched on the hardship fund, so again, big shout out to Sarah and Liam. I know those meetings can go a long time, so it's a pleasure sitting on the committee with you guys as well, so happy to do that. We have exhausted all the funds, and as Kathleen said, Giving Tuesday is coming up, so all those donations, let's try and get them in. Hosted a pet hangout this week in collaboration with Aussie. For anyone that was there, saw my little hedgehog Reggie. another one we got going on is, so this last month we received the student levies from the administration. So our role in that is we're just to flow through. So we'll be sending out the respective funds to the groups on campus for that. As well as CUSA financial statement presentation. So we were going to do that today, but for the sake of council longevity, we're going to move it actually to December. But it is ready. We do have a lot of our financial statements and the audit finalized. So next council is when we'll actually be presenting that. In regards to ongoing projects, so the student care legal service plan. So again, that survey is live. We're just waiting for them to come back to us with the data and then take a closer look at that, and again, see if this is a service that students have interest in and they want us to move forward on, or if it's something that we should move on from. In regards to the emergency relief fund, so again, we're still continuing to meet and assess applications so that when we do get a kind of refill of money, we can just send it out immediately. There won't be a wait time. In regards to sub, so now that we did that, again, continuing the outreach, and we've done a communications plan. Obviously, the goal is always to get 26,000 responses, trying to talk to every Carleton student. Realistic, obviously not, but again, like, if we're going to be putting a building on campus for students, then I think every person should have an input on what's going in there. So that's really kind of like how we're taking the approach to that. Furthermore, we're also looking at the greater assessment of spaces. So obviously, we've all heard a lot of vaccine chatter online and kind of curious what that means for school. Obviously, for us, that means what does that mean for our businesses, and also just students being on campus. So we're just constantly kind of following that and adjusting kind of like our plans in regards to responding to COVID. And then for the month ahead, so after we're done consultations for the student union building, we're going to meet with relevant university partners to ask about obviously certain requests we have, because there are a lot more like policies and conditions when we bring things on campus. For example, one idea I had was to put affordable housing in. And if we are going to be building, living units, we have to get permission from housing. So those are just conversations we're going to start having as well. Financial planning for the second semester. If COVID gets worse, what that means for our position as an organization, or again, if it starts looking up, what that means. Giving Tuesday. So I know CUSA as well will be making a donation to Giving Tuesday, so it can get matched and doubled to refill the hardship fund. If you're also personally able to, again, all donations are welcome. It's kind of like a 2-for-1. So, and another thing as well, so I did have a student reach out about the health and dental plan, and it's more so in regards to our coverage around kind of like mental health and psychology. And after having a few email conversations with that student, we are looking into reviewing the coverage we currently provide students. So there's a lot of different areas in that, from like prescription, it's like psychological, like mental health, dental, things like that. So really look at where students are happy with their coverage, where they think we could use more coverage, or maybe even less coverage. And then again, that's a good way to get kind of like student feedback. So if you have any questions, as always, vpf@cusonline.ca, or just hit me up. Thanks.
All right, thank you. And moving on to the VP internal report.
Thank you. Before I begin, I would just like to say that if anyone is here and you are a proxy for a counselor, can you please send me a message in the chat and just let me know who you're here representing. And with that, hello everybody. Welcome to November's council, our second last one. In the past month, just working on some elections preparations. As my time is coming to an end, since we have hired the CEOs and DOs, we've also got the new CUSA hub, which is now called CUSAonline.ca, the one-stop website for anyone trying to get involved on campus with clubs and societies. Council emails are ready and done. I'll be making little group chats for every faculty and sharing with you your emails and passwords so you have access to it, and talk about just steps going forward. Amazon Prime was a good experience, I must say. It was really fun. Good way to connect with a lot of students, especially online, since with everything going on. With that being said, if they are hiring students for next semester, if you are interested, please shoot me a message. Undergraduate recruitment presentation went really well. Got to explain just clubs and societies and the roles and just the benefits of getting involved on campus. Men's mental health, shot some videos with our Vice President Student Issues, Tinu, just regarding the stigmas around mental health, and just really trying to put our efforts into just breaking that stigma and having it become a norm just for men to discuss mental health and just be okay with it and accepting it. Ongoing committee vacant seats, we do have a bunch. We'll continue trying to promote them. But to our counselors, we do need your help. Our limit is so much, and obviously you're all leaders here on campus too, so we really appreciate your any support. Club societies, a few things with club societies, just dealing with a couple issues, helping them transition. And then my further point is clubs funding. We did allocate money to about 150 clubs. We do have some late applications, so we're just trying to wrap those up. Ongoing also CO and DO transitions. A lot of work has been done, a lot of amazing work, especially with this year being the first online election. So really exciting times. And then the SIF October deadline, we will be meeting probably early next week, trying to allocate those. In the next month, we do have study snacks, but I'll let Tinu explain that further on. New events, some exciting events, some stuff I'm really excited about. Again, I will not steal Morgan's thunder. I'll let her explain that later on. Clubs funding winter semester preparations. Obviously, we all know we have our Christmas break coming up. December is about maybe a week, 2 weeks, maybe even less with preparations for exams. So starting to prepare that so it's ready to go for clubs next semester. And with that, also clubs awards, just reviewing some of the awards, maybe adding new awards since everything is online. How do we show our appreciation and recognition to the clubs and all their students who are giving time to give back to the community? Exams are coming up, so got to prepare for those in the next month. And then my last topic is mental health. With everything being online and us heading into a way more stressful time with exams and everything that's going on in your personal lives, I do want to just advocate that, hey, take some time for yourself, take some personal time. You will be going through a lot of stressful times, so reaching out if you ever need help. There are a lot of services that help, that are there for the students. So if needs be, please do reach out. Please do access those and really do prioritize your mental health. So I do want to end it off with that. If you do have any questions, any concerns, my Instagram is there at Farouk Al, or you can reach me by email, vp@cusaonline.ca. Just a reminder, if you're here to proxy for somebody, because I don't think I only got one message. I don't even think it's for me, but if you're here as a proxy, please shoot me a message, or I'll just have to ask Ryan to, I guess, call you out later on. Thank you.
Let's try to avoid that. So moving on, we're going to move on to the VP Student Issues Report.
Hello, everyone. Hope we're all kind of holding on to the last stretch of the semester. So I'll just get right into it. So in past month, wrapped up Pop the Sigma. Most of you already know the video initiatives that we've been doing, and then finished off and executed the rest of the events for last month. Moving on, we had a slight continuance of Pop the Sigma. So one of the things I wanted to do when coming into my term was to not let, I guess, one campaign topic just be for 1 month. We feel like all of these pertinent student issues should be, I guess, commemorated and spotlighted on throughout the year. So which is why there is a continuance of Pop the Stigma, but obviously to keep tradition in a way, we kind of respun it. Sorry, my brother's calling. We kind of respun it in a way. So we're expanding our mental health initiatives simply with the Normalize campaign. As you all may know, I kind of asked on my personal Instagram, what are some of the mental health stigmas that you want to normalize, and people commented. Initially that was supposed to be October, but we thought, hey, mental health does not only, impact people only like for a month. So let's keep on going with this. And as I already stated in the beginning, the seasonal depression giveaway and video, which is a connection with Pop the Stigma. So also shout out to Emily So for that, because I actually just saw her enter, so that's great. All you guys should enter. If you could scroll down, please, Ryan.
People always say it's Ryan, it's actually me.
Oh, my bad. We appreciate you. So #NSARS. So in continuance from last month, I participated in more activism that reflected the needed change in our vibrant Nigerian community. Obviously, it affects me personally. I got interviewed for a couple of articles, Charlton, CBC News, You could check them out if needed be. Participated in a much needed call for action video, which involved and was actually spearheaded by Ra. I think that was touched upon last month, and was also asked to speak on a podcast related to the views of being a part of the diaspora and witnessing these events. With the EIC advisory meeting, which is the Equity Inclusive Services advisory meeting, we had our final meeting for the year. Here we solidify the final draft for Carleton's EIC 5C strategic plan. The subjects include but are not limited to curriculum and pedagogy, representation and outreach, research for disaggregated data, and feedback that I shared during the town hall that was considered, which is under it. Just like to say that the actual strategic plan will be released next semester. We're still going to get it approved, however, I believe through Senate and through other higher or other bodies of government. So please keep an eye out for that, as this has been an ongoing initiative since May. Farouk, if you could please scroll down. Yes, stated are some of the things that I included, which is an emphasis on mandatory training for students and staff, much needed workshops, training that is mentioned but not mentioned, but that is not mandatory, and also within that, how we can kind of redesign STEM programs to be more, I guess, receptive to these type of topics, especially within the classroom. And we keep going. The Students Affairs EDI consultation. So we met with the SEO's new equity officer alongside the team to discuss the gaps and weaknesses demonstrated in Carleton's EDI initiatives. You could call that an extension of the strategic plan. And here we talked about accessible experiential learning, gender neutral washrooms, and the speeding process of that, and the visual representations of Carleton students, or the gatekeeping of that. Also had the annual general survey review, that just to review some of the responses that we had. I also attended the CFS National General Meeting. For those who don't know what the CFS is basically the Confederation of Students, but for literally all Canada. So it was great to represent Carleton there. There was actually a week-long conference. Obviously COVID, it couldn't really be an in-person one, but picture it as you having meetings for 6 hours a day for about 4 days. That's basically how it looked like. And here we discussed basically some of the initiatives on how we could I guess, engage students if or when a COVID year continues to go into. More details about that will be presented on CUSA later. Financial Literacy Month, shout out to Morgan, she held it down. Obviously she's gonna touch on it more with that sense, but really love the events that were there. Shout out to Nora, she's here. I know I attended some of her workshops with Rise, so that was great to attend. Also attending wellness support groups that are initiated. And lastly, with the month, it's been a busy one, folks. Flu shot initiatives. Obviously, been trying to see if we could get some type of mechanism instilled for Carleton personally, but unfortunately that couldn't happen. So instead we went the old school style. Basically did a write-up on infographics on the importance of getting your flu shot this year, which all of you should do. Yes, I kind of raised my voice for that because it's very important. And if you don't know where to access that, if you're in the greater Ottawa area, I did comprise a list of that, so just check it out in the CUSA bio. Ongoing projects, yes, that was just last month, everyone. So expanding mental health initiatives, already touched upon that. We're still going in on that. Continuing to work on campaigns. I'm introducing 2 new campaigns to the VPSI portfolio, Indigenous Awareness Campaign and the Anti-Racism one. So keep a lookout for that. Flu shots at designated locations for Carleton students, already touched upon that, but obviously still ongoing. If you could please scroll down. And month ahead, study snacks. So as you may all know, study snacks usually spearheaded by me. This year, again, looking a bit different, but we have some really cool things set in store for everyone. So tune in for that. It's a really big surprise, but I'll put little there, but really do that. And flag consultation. So basically, for those of you who have been to Carleton, 4th floor UC, there is a galleria of flags that are on top. And a lot of students throughout past a couple of years have been asking, hey, if they could have their flags included there, or if, there could be a new redesign of such. So actually recently found out that I have some sway in that. So I will be launching a flag consultation for next semester, where if your country or state's flag is not included, we will try our very best to have it done so that once we do return back to campus, when we're all safe and healthy, we'll have more visual representation of our diverse Carleton community there. Then we have solidifying the framework for both the Indigenous Awareness Campaign and Anti-Racism Campaign, kind of already touched upon that. Continuing to follow with academic accommodations, need to minus the pop-up clinics because that's a very unlikely no. And then switching gears to next semester and this in December's exam season. So that was my report. If there's any questions, comments, or interests, let me know. Or you could also go into my email there and Instagram if y'all are, more appropriate with that. So yes, in solidarity, Tinu, thank you everyone.
Thank you. And moving on to the VP Community Engagement Report.
Hi, everyone. I hope you're having a wonderful Thursday evening. We're almost at the weekend, so just hang in there. So over this past month, I've been doing a bit more work on the Capital Collective. Musab, one of our counselors here, he's also our finance clerk, very helpful with setting up the new website. We also have a new collection. So it's going to be launched very, very shortly. And yeah, just keep it in mind. It could be a really nice holiday gift idea. So keep an eye out for those. In terms of service centers, most of them had Financial Literacy Month programming. So CDAC did Employability Week. As Tinu mentioned, I collabed with Rise, Noor in the room. We had I'm going to say it was an awesome Entrepreneurship 101 panel. Really, really great. We had three panelists from all different industries, all different walks of life. And it was just good, like deep conversations, lots of lessons learned. I also attended and participated in the Hatch Hackathon, which was a 30-hour hackathon. But again, really, really great event put on by Hatch. So much work went into it. So I was really happy to be a part of it and also attend my first ever hackathon. So that was super cool. And Wellness Center had their COVID check-in support group. Always really, really great. That was like the second one I've attended. So there will be more throughout the year. So make sure to keep an eye out for those as well. One of my larger projects from this past month was the Startup Fest, which was a collaborative initiative with SBSS. Also really successful. It was a 2-day event. It was pretty much a startup career fair / showcase. So we had 5 different outside organizations, companies come in and talk about their companies and their entrepreneurial journeys. And then we had a studentpreneur showcase where we had 10 students present their businesses to the attendees. So it was really, really great, held on Hopin. And yeah, I was super, super pleased with the turnout. One of the most notable statistics is that we had an average attending time for 2 hours per person. And the sessions were around an hour each. So on average, people attended 2 sessions, which was really great. At the beginning of the month, I had collaboration with the 3 Skills, which is a professional development company. We had 2 workshops, which was virtual networking and resume and cover letter workshops. So those were really great. We also gave students the opportunity to actually enroll in their course and then partially reimburse the students that attended the workshops with CUSA. And then enrolled into their course and partially refund them through the Student Initiative Fund. So that was really awesome. I also attended the CUX monthly communications committee meeting. So for those of you that don't know, CUX is a collaborative initiative across different departments on campus. And we're just coming up with different ways to help promote the website. So all the stakeholders like CUSA, SPSS, CSCS, SciSoc, everyone pretty much, and RAW, they can upload or fill out a form with their events, and they'll be uploaded to the current student's website. So it's just another way to get your events out there. And also participated in the Mask Up or Pack Up campaign with RAW. Really well done, and also got some of the street team and brand ambassadors in on that, which was really great. Ongoing projects, so supporting TNU with study snacks. I'm also working on a support local shopping list, so support local if you can this holiday season. And I really want to highlight again those student entrepreneurs, student-owned businesses that were at the Startup Fest. We are having a brunch with the execs, take 2, December 8th. If you want brunch on us, check it out. You don't want to miss it. You'll get reimbursed up to $15. So it's really nice. And you'll just get to chat with us. The purpose is to really catch up and see how your semester went. If you have any questions, comments, anything like that, and gather this feedback so that we can implement it for the winter semester. So make sure to check that out. Promo will start soon. Next week, I have some interviews for the remaining service center vacancies. So really hoping to finally fill all those outstanding vacancies. And yeah, just preparing for next semester. So yeah, I can't believe that the semester is almost wrapping up already. Months ahead, CUSA Marketplace. I have a vision for it, so we'll see that in the winter semester. I'll also be working on brand ambassador winter recruitment. So for anybody, even if you're a counselor and you're interested in becoming a brand ambassador, keep an eye out for those job postings. It is a paid position, and we have an interview process. So yeah, those will be happening shortly. And as Farouk mentioned, new events, quite broad, quite vague, but I will be collabing with Farouk, which is really exciting. So if you have any questions, you can always reach me at VPCE at CUSA Online or on Instagram at Morgan Chanru. And yeah, thank you so much.
All right, thank you. And finally, moving on to the VP Student Life Report.
Awesome, best for last. So yeah, this is my report. You probably heard a bunch of the things that are going to be repeated anyways, because you know it's a collaboration at the end of the day. That's how we work. Hope everybody's month's going well. Lots of exams, lots of work. That's kind of my life, but you know, anime's pushing me through. So past month, COVID-19 support group, huge shout out to Sarah, who's actually in this, the wellness center. They've been doing so great, help basically leading the COVID-19 support groups. And it's amazing seeing even if we help 1 or 2 students, because at the end of the day, that's what matters, helping students out. Pet Hangout, Jacob, love you, bro. Great host. We held an online pet hangout. Reggie the Hedgehog made a famous appearance. We're happy that students got to, you know, come out and, you know, show off their best friends, because pets are people's best friends. That's just a fact of life. If we host it again, we just want to say, people, you can come without pets. You know, you don't have to. If you don't have a pet, it's fine. Just come through, hang out, see other people's pets, have fun. So discuss collaboration for the upcoming semester. We got winter semester coming up, you know, next month, basically after exams. So just meeting with different groups, clubs, and discussing what events we can collab on with each other and just how to make it better, bigger and better, essentially. Met with the SEO and ISSO, so we're thinking about running a lot of events in January together. Going to talk about Frost Week a bit later, so that's what they want to sort of jump on with me. Then CUX Programming Committee. We're going to talk about how committees sort of work. That's sort of it. CUX, dope little collaboration. We held our trivia last month, and obviously, you know, trivia is great. I love it. Our monthly yoga was streamed online. It was taught by an amazing yogi. I did not know that's what they call yoga teachers, but they're called yogis. So fun fact of the day. Met with student affairs and had an EDI consultation meeting. Thank you, Tinu, for setting that up with Dwayne and making it amazing. Ongoing, so continuing the COVID-19 support groups. Sarah, Wellness Center, thank you guys so much. Literally love this. Just trying to make it keep it going. And I love meeting new people, so I hope it continues. Programming calendar for the winter semester. We're just looking now how we can sort of change up the winter semester and sort of keep student engagement at an all-time high. You probably see Tina's new initiative right now with our bundles. And I love the participation. I love that students are actually learning from this at the end of the day, learning new things, and at the same time still enjoying it. At the end of the day, that's our goal. We want you guys to have fun, but also learn a bit about some great little initiatives that we're doing. Again, my bundle and Jacob's bundle is the best bundle, the surprise bundle, but surprises are the best. So I can't tell you what it is, but love it. And yeah, so if you can go down a bit, Ryan.
I need to interrupt. I'm so sorry. Ozzy, this is an infraction. As the CEO of this giveaway, you're not allowed to do that. So please, all bundles are pretty great. Thank you. I just needed to intervene.
Some bundles are just better. So yeah, Frost, CUX right now, we're just working with them to discuss collaboration start of the year again. Frost Week, I'm talking a bit about that more in the months ahead. TESPA Gaming Tournament. So we organized a gaming tournament at TESPA, but unfortunately, we're just going to move it to January because we know students are getting a little stressful right now, especially with finishing their last assignments. And then literally in 2 weeks, you got final exams. So we thought it's best if we just push it. Everyone who did sign up, thank you. There was lots of people signed up. We will literally keep you in the tournament. You guys have your place secured, and we're just going to make it bigger and better. And yeah, can't wait for everybody to turn up and have a fun time. We do have great prizes for that. We have prizes. Why did we say no in the comments? We have some great prizes. My favorite, Nintendo Switch, and TESPA's a great club. We love to see their recognition. We love to see them win all their tournaments in the States. Frost Week, we finished our outline. It's great. We have some great ideas, and it's open to all students. We're not keeping it just to Frost or first-year students. We're opening it to all students because we just want a week that's dedicated to every student having fun, every student coming out, and every student just, getting that sort of sense of community bonding. Months ahead, online program for winter semester. Again, we're still maintaining the aspects of support and advocacy that we work so hard for. I believe this year CUSA has taken an amazing sort of direction to focus on advocacy and support for students. And I'm very proud to be part of the team that's doing that. Shout out to Tinu, shout out to Kathleen. Both of them are leading it. And very proud of you two. Make sure we still have events that students enjoy. We're focused on quality over quantity. So we might lower the amount of events, but we also might make them a lot fun, a lot better for everybody to enjoy. And we're focused on evolving clubs because they're just not the backbone of CUSA, they're the backbone of Carleton. Most clubs in any campus in all Canada, just have to say it again. Study snacks plus dope surprises. Tina's doing study snacks, it's gonna be great. And then we have our own dope surprise that is a surprise, so I'm not gonna mention it, not gonna infringe on it, I don't want to get yelled at by Tinu. But it is a great and dope surprise. And yeah, Frost Week, it's moving forward now. We're setting up all the events right now. We're aiming to get a great guest speaker to come in so all students can come and enjoy it. It'll be completely free, so any student come and enjoy it. We also might have a few more surprises that might be a little better than a guest speaker. So if you have any more questions, just reach out to my email. It's vpslcusaonline. But if you want to reach me even quicker, just Osman Elmi on Instagram. I don't have my notifications on because I believe social media is a lot of work, but I'll check it eventually, probably at the end of the night when I want to look at some like memes or reels or whatever. So reach out and have a great night because it's already dark outside, and best luck on exams.
All right, thank you. That wraps up the VP reports. Is there a raw report?
Yeah.
All right, you have the floor.
Cool. Hello, everyone. I hope you've had a good week so far. I guess I'll just jump right into it. So early November for RAW, we held our virtual campaign, Mask Up or Pack Up, which kicked off when students returned from Reading Week. This was ran by RAW Council and led by our COVID-19 committee. So super happy with how it all went. The campaign actively promoted the COVID-19 guidelines in residence, and we worked with Housing and Residence Life, Carleton Wellness, Ottawa Public Health, as well as student groups such as CUSA, SPSS, and CASG. Great feedback. All the videos are available on Raw's IGTV, so feel free to check them out if you have the time. Recently, we just hosted our second speed mingling event last Friday, which went super great. Great event to help build connections in residents. We targeted this to primarily first years on and off campus, and it was led by our Vice President of Programming, Jenna Smith, and our Special Events and Community Outreach Committee. Currently, we are preparing for our next report, which is set to come out at the end of the month. This is essentially an executive report highlighting the work we have done for the months of October and November. The first report is now available on our website, so you can check that out if you wish. And we just put out job postings for CEO and DEO for our executive election, which is taking place early March. Great leadership role to take on. If anyone is interested, you can currently apply by sending in your resume and cover letter to hiringboard@raw.ca. And the job information is all available on the Raw website. If you have any questions, you can reach me at president@raw.ca or at jslaughter on Instagram. I'll also send it in the chat. And I hope everyone has a great weekend.
Great. Thank you. Is there a GSA report? I don't see one. Is there a CASG report?
Yes, yeah. Oh, you're here, Matt? My bad. I didn't see you. Go ahead.
I got bored with my assignment, so I decided I'd pop in.
You have the floor.
Yeah, we've had a busy month so far. We had our council where we struck all of our committees. Last night we had a good time with our promotions and campaigns committee, and tonight we got a big finance committee meeting. So looking forward to that. We're looking at restructuring our budget going into the next semester as we've seen what's been used, what hasn't been used with the online semester. We're going to look at what money we can move to better serve students in the next semester. Early next week, we'll be starting our Keeping It Digital campaign. Basically what that is we're going to be advocating for profs in the university to keep all the resources to stay online, not just for the continuing of the pandemic, but going forward afterwards. We've seen this as cut costs for students in general, and it's also just better for the environment. We've proven that we can have these resources through online learning and not have to buy 3, 4, 5 textbooks a semester. I want to keep that momentum going. And there's no reason to go back to how we've been doing things in 2019 when we're clearly progressing forward. Let's keep that going. And then finally, big news for tomorrow in the Senate meeting, we'll be voting on the winter 0.5 SAT credit. So basically, that'll be the same as it worked this semester. So when your grades do come in next semester, you'll be able to pick one past course if you don't want that grade to count towards your GPA. If it passes, you'll be able to scratch that from your GPA and keep the credit. And yeah, that's pretty much it from us.
Great. Thank you. Is there a Senate report? I see none. Is there a Board of Governors report?
There is.
All right, you have the floor.
So today I'll be briefing you on 2 matters, both September 29th minutes that was just released, as well as December 1st meeting, which is next week. So particularly, there's a lot to cover in here of relevance to all students, but we'll just talk about that relevant to undergraduate students. We approved in the consent agenda the draft outline for the operating budget and auxiliary budgets. So that's just the draft outline. We'll be voting on the actual budgets next meeting. This I seconded along with Nick Nanos as we're continuing discussions about tuition reform, particularly advocating for students. We worked on the health sciences building, which is just completing its renovation. The sustainability plan, which is of course something very, very interesting that I'm sure your executives are all active on. The healthy workplace and mental health at work. So that applies to all staff, faculty, as well as student employees of the university. So that's very important to note. We also worked on several issues pertinent to undergraduate governor, or to the work of the undergraduate governor, so both myself and Tyler. A member raised, as you will notice in the minutes, the issue of pay equity. This is something I've been active on for a few months. So the board discussed this with regard to the equity services report that will be coming out in the next few months that we'll be voting on, a crucial component of it on December 1st. However, it's important to note that there is ongoing contractual negotiations about this with the staff unions. So that's something to keep your eyes out for. We also raised the issue of racialized specific counselors. So that was discussed in depth one of the things I noticed when we were going over the draft report was that there was only one racialized counselor slated to be hired as part of this plan. And so, of course, this is a 10-year implementation. So I would think over 10 years, we would have much more than one racialized specific counselor. So that is something we're continuing to work with Michael Charles on, but specifically with regard to the minutes, you see that outlined there, and you can follow up with Michael Charles about what we are doing together to leading into the March meeting, where we'll have a more robust plan for that laid out. We also went into the perceived oppression from staff. So one of the questions I raised was, if a student, for example, went into mental health counseling and had an issue with regard to oppression from a staff member, from just a general situation of oppression from the university, how would they go about reporting that? And so we're working on building that into the implementation agreement of how just building a specific structure for that to take place, which is not already in place right now. We are looking into how behaviors can be incentivized. This is another one of my addition as undergraduate representative on the Board of Governors that we looked into. And you can see more detail in this in the minutes as it will move forward to the March meeting. But incentivizing behavior is really crucial in terms of the implementation agreement, because we don't only want first years, for example, to take that digital course as outlined by the plan, but we also want to incentivize more enriched equity behavior. So that's what we're looking into, but you can follow up with Michael Charles on that. We're looking into as well course delivery. So how are we going to deliver those online courses, those mandatory EDI online courses as we move forward, and when will that be implemented? There was some talk of 2021, but of course, because of COVID-19 and the stresses placed upon students, the Senate will have to, and the administration will have to look into possibly 2022. So what do we do between now and then to implement these types of classes, and how can that be done? We looked into the Special Constables program. This is a special passion project that you will see that I'm taking forward, particularly with the motion being brought in March. But at the September 29th meeting, we made sure to go over in detail the fact that Special Constables, it's a double-edged sword. We have a program operating at Carleton University where we have officers of the peace, provincially mandated officers, working under the guidelines or the auspices of the Auto Police. So that means our human rights policy, as discussed in the minutes and as discussed, presented by Michael Charles, has really limited effect on what these officers can and cannot do, as they are governed by the same set of values and principles that we have on the Auto Police and all the rest. Although we do have some oversight, and we do have a comprehensive review process over that. So that's something contained in Michael Charles's presentation to the December meeting. As you will note, Michael Charles is asking for, or going to create, an advisory council where students among staff and other people can sit and govern over what we see in terms of campus safety. So that's going to be an interesting aspect coming up at the December 1st meeting. We also inquired into senior leadership, such as the Board of Governors, but also the administration, as we see in all-white administrations, or mostly all-white administration on the vice presidential, chancellor, and presidential level. Also on the Board of Governors, we have a handful of racialized governors in an institution where 47% of students are racialized. So from that perspective, we're moving forward on implementing that. The chair made some very eloquent remarks, but do look forward to the December and even March meetings for when we are getting some more comprehensive outlines on that from Michael Charles. We moved into the Senate report, which was very lengthy. It was the first Senate report that we've received this term of the Board of Governors, and also for a few meetings now. So it was comprehensive. The outcome of that with regard to undergraduate students was the question I raised and got a comprehensive sort of response to, which was the issue of the PAPM petitions being circulated, particularly with regard to Black Lives Matter and that whole social moment, how we're changing curriculum to match the times. So that's something outside the purview of the Board of Governors that we managed to raise through this board meeting. You can look, of course, at the minutes for some guidelines onto that, and also reach out to Senate representation to push this issue forward. We looked into the issue of, sorry here, just going into my paperwork. The issue of feedback. So the issue of feedback on online service delivery. This is something that we have on the academic side of things. The administration has been very clear about getting some feedback on how professors are doing, how the quality of your instruction at Carleton University. But when it comes down to, for example, access to the Paul Menton Center, all of these different services, there needs to be some evaluation there. So we're going to be working in the next few months with Susan Blanchard on having that there. I look forward to working with my CUSA counterparts to try to, harmonize our efforts on that level. We don't want to duplicate efforts. On the matter of the Turkish student that was detained by the government of Turkey, I raised that quite aggressively. Now, we did receive as governors a private briefing about what Global Affairs is doing in conjunction with the university that I cannot divulge. However, publicly, you'll see in the meeting that the president did go over this. Susan Blanchard went over this and the precautions that will be taken moving forward with students that we have conducting research in Turkey and the surrounding area. So I'm confident that this board meeting highlighted the seriousness of the safety situation that we take as a university. So you can find more information there. And of course, CUSA should continue to reach out to the administration to ensure that those protections are there. We also looked into the residence building, which is something of great contention. I brought up the issue of building low rental housing as part of that, so that students can have a more affordable option. Right now, the most affordable option is probably sleeping in a room of 4, or I'm not sure how that works. However, in this, I really brought up the idea of building single rooms, of course, that are affordable. When I got the answer from Mr. Pesce, the VP Finance, they went into sort of the traditional approach to this, which was matching, the rates of housing in the surrounding neighborhood. And I said, well, many students, view Carleton as a place to study, but also as a place to live that is more affordable than living off residence. And we want to maintain that stature, and we want to make it even more true by building low rental housing there. So we're going to look into that. But there is also the issue of the meal plan. I brought up the issue of the contractual negotiations we have there. It went up by 8% last year, which was not really dictated to. The cost of the contract that we have with contractors did not go up by 8%, so there was no plausible reason why it should have gone up by 8%. So we're looking into that. I look to RAW and CUSA to look into that as well. We went into the sustainability strategy, particularly with regard to the P9 building structure. Now, my counterpart, Tyler Boswell, sits on the building committee, so I'll leave it to him to attend the next meeting and discuss more about that. But we did bring up particularly aspects of meeting our carbon neutral by 2050 goal. And so by doing so, we're going to have to look into and rethink the way we do driving on campus, in building infrastructure on campus. So this needs to be really a top priority, particularly for green parking spaces, for energized EV parking spaces. We went into long-term planning for divestment. So I asked a very blunt question, got a very limited response, but I believe CUSA is working on this with the administration, which is the matter of divestment and responsible investing. This is something I'll talk more of when I speak about the following board meeting that's happening next week, but this is such a crucial issue because the answer that we got back was the administration doesn't know how much just how much dollar figure does the endowment fund have in fossil fuel investments. It could be $1, it could be tens of millions, it could actually be 100 million. That is left up there. If you actually refer to the auxiliary documents that are attached to the minutes, you'll actually note that the list of approved equities that the university, both endowed and non-endowed funds, can be invested into contain heavy approval of the fossil fuel industry over other industries. So what we're working on is actually trying to decrease the amount of fossil fuel equities able to be invested in, and increasing that of green energy, or even, literally there are many other equities that we could be investing in that are more profitable, if not the same as the fossil fuel industry. So that was the question, that was the general nature contained in the minutes. We looked into as well the fact that student petitioners, over 3,000 students, want a reduction in tuition. And so The vice presidents, in the administration was very vocal on their pre-existing position, which was the university continues to operate in, in a full functioning capacity, and therefore the budget needs to remain the same, tuition needs to remain the same. Of course, there is a provincial tuition freeze for domestic students in place, so of course it can't go up or down. But that is the situation that we're facing. We're facing an administration that truly believes that during the COVID era, we're providing the same level of services with academic and non-academic than before that. Obviously, as students, we know that is not true. Of course, the quality is there. We're not doubting the quality of our phenomenal staff members and faculty members, but what was made clear in the response to this is there is a clear disconnect between the budgetary framework that was presented in this very same meeting and what the vice president is saying. There is a gap there, and that's what needs to be filled. So moving on, finally, very quickly on the issue of next week's meeting, we're dealing with a situation where I laid out very clearly in the last meeting that students are opposed to investing tens, if not hundreds of millions of our money into equities in the fossil fuel industry, yet this is precisely what they want. So I've emailed the board chair on behalf of undergraduate students to separate from the consent agenda the proposed investment policy of non-endowed funds. Very quickly, the difference between non-endowed funds and endowed funds is the short-term investments that we do year over year to fund things like research, infrastructure investment, just to make an extra, few $100,000 on our already pre-existing lump sum of tuition funds that we have in the bank. And then we have endowed funds, which are in a trust, like pension funds, long-term planning, facility planning, the deferred maintenance fund, all of that. This is $100 million of our money this year, this upcoming fiscal year, so 2021-22, that is being able, by this policy that is not yet passed. I will do everything in my power to make sure it doesn't pass the next board meeting, but I'm only so powerful. Essentially, $100 million will be allowed to go into the traditional investments. So that's the summary of my report. Mr. Chair, I advise CUSA executives and CUSA Council members, RAW executive, CASG, all of you really to look into this investment policy. Students are opposed to using our $100 million into any sort of fossil fuel shares. So please look into this and stay active. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there a constituency report? Right, I see none. Are there any committee reports? We might have a clubs and societies funding committee report. I see that in the minutes.
No, that was just an error.
Nope, that's fine. Okay. Okay, we are done with the reports at this point. And are there items for information? Sarah, yes, you have an item for information.
Hi, everyone. So for anyone who doesn't know, I am the programming coordinator at the Wellness Center. And very soon, on Monday, we're going to have a very big event, the Intersectionality Seminar, that I encourage everyone to attend. Basically, what we're trying to do here is to promote a supportive community. Also, we're giving out AirPods Pro to a random winner. So I really, really encourage you to come. Yeah, that's all.
All right, thank you. Are there any other items for information?
I don't know if this kind of classifies in here, just a little reminder as well. I know we mentioned it a couple times before, but counselors, we do have like in the budget, a counselor initiative fund. So there's $5,000 available for an initiative that counselors want to do. So maybe like if there wants to be kind of like a group chat, or maybe if people want to just kind of like think of ideas, maybe next council, we can like have something on the radar. If you guys want, just saying that money is there and available for your discretion for kind of like something you'd like to do in the Carleton community. So yeah.
Good, thank you. Are there any other items for information? All right, I see none. Moving on, we're going to open up the question period. Are there any questions?
I got a question.
Okay, you have a question as well. Sure. We'll start off with Mackenzie. I think she had her hand up first. Mackenzie, oh, no.
Yeah, it's
Maybe
just
not.
a quick one. It's just for
Okay.
Nathaniel. Oh, sorry.
Sorry, are you a proxy or do you have speaking
No,
rights?
I'm a counselor.
Okay. Okay, yep. Sure.
This is for
So you have a
Nathaniel.
question?
Yeah, this is for Nathaniel regarding the divestment campaign situation. I'm just curious as to whether.
Oh, sorry, before we just begin too. So technically you're supposed to address the questions to the chair. You can say it's for Nathaniel, that's fine. Just keep that in mind and then I will pass along to Nathaniel.
Okay, sorry.
Okay, it's all fine.
It's just about the staff's kind of like Carleton staff's relevance to this question about divestment. Is the staff's opinion and kind of views relevant to a question of divestment where, I don't know, are their pensions affected by what Carleton is investing in? And if so, is their kind of views on this being taken into account? I presume there may be some support or there may be some non-support. I'm just curious to whether that's relevant.
Nathaniel, would you like to respond?
Yes. Well, great question. The core fundamental difference between the proposal that is going forward at December 1st board meeting next week and that of the endowed funds is that the endowment really controls the pensions. However, pensions in and of themselves are self-controlled by the trust. So really the issue of divestment has to deal with the equity, the liquidity, and the equity that we invest in. That's about $100 million in our non-endowed short-term investment portfolio that really doesn't have to do with any pensions because as I mentioned, that's in a separate trust. Staff are being consulted on this, but I really do feel that we need to make very clear here that this is our money. Year over year, $100 million of tuition money doesn't go into any necessary pots. It goes into the general bank account, so to say. So with instead of leaving that to be spent in our university checking account per se, we put it into an investment account so it makes a little bit of money month over month. That's the problematic area that needs to be under consideration here is how are we investing that money? Is it going into the fossil fuel industry? So that's really the key differentiator here. That does not have to do with salaries per se. It could do with some contractors that we have to deal with. So for example, the people in the cafeteria, our contract with eFoliate, our contract with certain library contractors are affected by this, but that of course is something pre-existing. So the money will always be there to pay staff and contractors. It's just a question of whether or not the money is there to invest in fossil fuels just to make a little bit more money off of what we already have.
Good, thank you. Mackenzie, would you like to follow up?
No, that's great. Thanks for clarifying. I just wanted to see if their opinions would really have a relevance to this topic.
Okay, thank you. Farouk, you would be next.
Thank you. My question is to the BOG representative. Nathaniel, first and foremost, I just want to say what you've done and all the work you've done is really amazing. So thank you for that. We do greatly appreciate it. My question to you would be some concerns that I received from some students. So not too long ago, there was a professor at Carleton who was making cakes that was found to be very disrespectful, and a lot of students within certain communities were very offended by it. Now, this raised questions such as, where can students go if they don't feel comfortable with a professor? Where can students go if they feel like they are being, they're getting the short end of the stick with the professor, if they feel the professor's not being professional? And this came about because some students of this community or this demographic and other students as a whole felt like, what happens if I take this course with this professor? What happens if I take a course with professors who were okay, who agreed with that professor's actions? So my question to you is, where can students go to complain about a professor to hold them accountable? I know we do have the ombudsperson, but they're more as like the middle. They're the ones that comes with a solution, kind of please both sides. But if I have an issue with a professor, if I feel a professor is making me feel unsafe, they are doing acts of quote unquote hatredism, where can I go to hold them accountable? And if there is no way for me to do that, is it something that you'd be able to do?
Daniel, would you like to respond?
Absolutely. Thank you for the great question, Farouk. That is a deeply, deeply saddening situation. I was not aware of the cake situation. Please feel free to send me or email me this complete situation. I'll bring it up to the board. I think this has to do with 3 areas that I've been working on very intensely with different governors. But we need to keep in mind 2 factors. The Board of Governors is a bunch of former CEOs, right? And so they are only going to take into account the changes that are absolutely necessary. So from day one, I've been pushing forward something called SRRP reform, which is Student Rights and Responsibilities reform. On top of that, with the recent situation we saw unfolding at the University of Ottawa, I've been working with my BOG my counterparts there in how they're responding to that in terms of changing their staff conduct policy. And so I'm working on the 2 to amend my original committee referral, which was to my committee in April on this matter. So what I'm going to do is link the 2 and try to reform the staff measures as well as student measures on the issue of hate. Right now, as you mentioned, there is no confirmatory way to do this. There is no consolidated way to do this. You would go through the dean would reach out to equity services. All that equity services can do under the Human Rights Code is mediation. Then you can go to the ombudsman. The ombudsman has some authority, limited authority over employment contracts. That really falls to the office of the president and the vice president, who are in charge of hiring. So it's so complex right now and diluted that we will see exactly what happened at the University of Ottawa happen at Carleton University. You don't even know how many emails I've been having with the chair, Dan Fortin, with the president, Benoit, going back and forth about this situation. And what I'm seeing here is the same sort of institutional denial of racism that we see at the University of Ottawa, and it's truly concerning. So I would agree with you on the basis that the current system is ineffective. The reforms that I'm proposing will most likely pass, but they're so limited in nature because, of course, I can take my very pumped up proposal, pass it through a committee, goes to the board, and a former CEO of a company rips it to shreds. So that's what we often see. That's why there have been so many protest movements on campus in the past few years, trying to push the Board of Governors on anything from collective agreements to divesting from arms deals. These are the same people who have done all of those decisions. So really being the only voice there saying that we need to push back against this and really reform the system, particularly with regard to hate, has been a struggle in and of itself. But that's something that we need to work on. And I'll, of course, shoot you an email about that and we'll work on it together. Thank you so much, Farouk.
Okay, thank you. Farouk, would you like to follow up?
I'll touch base later on. I'm fine for now. Thank you.
Okay. Liam, you have a question?
Hey, how's it going? So my question is for Kathleen. So it seems like your focus has been, one of the things is the divestment fund. Could you just explain a bit of the process of it and like what it takes to be successful? Is it like a matter of signatures and like maybe how long the process is?
Sure. Kathleen, would you like to respond?
Yes, thank you for that question, Liam. So I can share a little bit about my efforts on divestment. I see that this is something that Nathaniel's been working on as well with the board. So I'm not quite sure exactly how our efforts will intersect, but I know a lot of groups on campus are working on this simultaneously. One of them is also the Grad Student Association. So I think at this point, it's like as many voices that can come together to push for one thing, the university will start to feel it from all ends. But in terms of what we're working on, so what we're looking for is a commitment from the Board of Governors to divest from fossil fuels. And so our ask is for the transition to be complete within 5 years. So we're looking for this for a commitment from the university because obviously like we won't be around in 5 years and it takes some time for for like to just transition slowly out of these funds so that there's not like a shock. But that's kind of exactly what that's what we're looking for. So the process that I've been going is like running a 2-pronged campaign with Climate Action Carleton. So basically Climate Action Carleton's doing a lot of the more mobilizing, so like running the petition and trying to get as many students on board. And on my end with my team and with the climate officers, which are 2 students that I've hired to work on sustainability and climate justice at CUSA, we're working on more of like the internal lobbying. So meeting with administration to move things forward. So we had a meeting with the Vice President of Finance, Michel Pichet, and Suzanne Blanchard, Vice President of Students, and the Endowment Fund Manager, that's Betsy Springer. And just while we're on this, to clarify, Betsy manages the 2 main funds. There's the endowment fund and the pension fund. The pension fund is for professors, and it's completely separate. And there was actually an effort to divest the pension fund like 5-6 years ago from professors, and it failed because you need to have 100% of professors that are getting their pension out of it to accept divestment, and that didn't happen. But we're actually working quite closely with the professors that ran that campaign to use their strategies for the endowment fund campaign, which is the main one that like we can control. So anyways, as I said, we met with the administration, and they said, okay, you're gonna need to get BOG approval, but to do that, come and present at the investment committee, because the investment committee will be the one that will actually make the decision and offer a recommendation to the board as a whole. Because usually like once you get to the board level, it's pretty much just approving what the committees recommend. So that's why we're going directly to the investment committee, which is meeting on December 11th. And we're pitching to them our divestment pitch and explaining like primarily like the financial aspects. So how really divestment is the right move, not only like for the climate and for reconciliation and for standing up to our values as a university, but even from a financial perspective, like fossil fuel stocks are decreasing in value and will continue to do so in the green recovery that's following COVID, especially with the Joe Biden win in the US. So basically going to the investment committee, pitching it to them, and hoping to get a commitment to divestment in the coming months. And then participating in like the process of seeing that through. But so that's really what we're looking for, because at the end of the day, like my term's almost over and I'm also graduating eventually. So we're pretty aware of our timeline, and the university also plays on our timeline. Like their strategy is pretty much keep students happy as long as possible until they graduate and never really change anything. So we're trying to like play against that and push forward to get the commitment to happen as soon as possible. Does that answer your question?
Okay,
yeah, thank you. Like, Liam, would you like to do a follow-up?
Yeah, like what do the signatures do? Is it just like a numbers game to show like the commitment people have?
Yeah, so basically the university, as we've seen with any of the petitions that go around, doesn't really act unless they feel like there's a massive student movement behind anything. So the petition is one of the ways we're mobilizing support, but we're also doing 2 other ways, so that when we come to the meeting on December 11th, we're like, hey, look, these are all the groups that are supporting us. So we started with the petition, but now we're trying to target even more specifically student groups. So like we've been working with CASHD and RAW and GSA to get like their official endorsement. And I actually just met with Student Energy today to get their endorsement. We're scheduling a meeting with OPER to get their endorsement. So we want to come to the meeting with like a list of student groups that endorse us, and we're also working with faculty to get a list of faculty and departments that endorse us. And then the other aspect we're looking for is to get prominent alumni and student and like politicians and stuff to endorse. So right now our strategy leading into the December 11th meeting is to come in with as much official support as possible, just so that they take us more seriously. So all of it is like, it's all like a grassroots mobilizing technique to make it seem to them like we have a massive movement behind us.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
And then we have Greg Dance with a question.
Yeah, thanks, Ryan. This is a question that
sorry, actually, I don't believe you have speaking rights.
I don't, but am I allowed to
correct.
pose a question?
Not until you have speaking rights. So a motion to grant Greg Dance speaking rights. All in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Okay, Greg, you can ask your question.
Okay, thank you. So yeah, I just wanted to say I'm a student at large. I'm just here on my own capacity. And I would like Kathleen to respond to this if possible. Last year, as per the public CUSA minutes that involved the approval of the FundKey referendum, FundKey assured council that they were confident that they could provide funding for many students at Carleton. I was just wondering, for Kathleen, in your meeting with them, were they able to demonstrate evidence that they've provided significant funding to any students at Carleton? And if that exceeded the gross intake of their levy fee for this year?
Kathleen, would you like to respond?
Hi, Greg. Thank you for that question. So I did have a very productive meeting with them, and we discussed the need for more statistics, more transparency, more proof of results to students for FundKey. So at the moment, they've committed to working throughout this year to put more statistics onto their website in terms of success. As you know, this is the first year that they're running, so it's hard to put together concrete numbers right away. And it's also important to understand that FundKey is not necessarily just to give out money to students. It's also a platform where students can access internships. You can also get grants for research. You can also have get reviews of like grant proposals and stuff like that. You can get conference tickets. So it's not just a platform that's supposed to like give money out to students. It really connects students to opportunities and to donors. So that's also why it can be hard to quantify. But again, I understand the need for students to want to see more concrete data. And I also, and one thing that I'll point out is that before FundKey actually received or passed the referendum and like got a levy, they had given out over $500,000 or $500,000 to students even before they became an actual fee for students. So that's one thing. I also will encourage you, Greg, and I'm planning on writing a follow-up to your entire working group about meeting with FundKey, because I did speak with them. We actually have Zuberi, who's here tonight, I think, if you want to ask him any questions, but he's very like willing to meet with you and hear your concerns and be as transparent as possible, because I know that you have expressed a lot of valid concerns.
And would you have a follow-up to that, Greg?
Yeah, just for Zuberi then. So Zuberi, I've never met you personally, but would you be able to give us an idea here at this meeting of how many students opted into FundKey this year? Because as some of you may know, you needed to opt in and opt out to use the service. And my concern is that there are a lot of students that, and again, this has nothing to do with the working group that you mentioned. I'm just here on my own. Like, this is outside of that. Is there any statistics that you have for us that demonstrate that a large portion of the students paying your fee actually just opted in to use your service?
And Zubari, are you here? Just scrolling through the list. You are? Okay, great.
Yeah.
Before you can respond, we'll have to give you speaking rights. Motion to grant Zubari speaking rights. All in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Zubari, you can respond.
Okay, yeah, so hi, Greg and council. Yes, there are definitely some statistics I can talk about tonight. And then there are just a few other things that I would like to say. So number one, by the way, I'm always happy to talk and set up a meeting with anyone who has future concerns. But otherwise, so the first thing is we've had close to, I believe the last time we checked the opt-in, we've had close to just over 1,000 students opt into the service. And in terms of monies won, so here's how scholarships and grants work. I'm not sure if anyone else here has applied for scholarships and grants, but sometimes it can take months to hear back and see, if the student has won, any funds. So an updated number will come most likely next semester in the next coming months. I also would like to point out that I actually have, am I allowed to share my screen?
Yeah, you can share your screen.
Okay, let me just, oh, the host has disabled.
1 sec, I'll try to enable it for you.
Okay. Okay.
Please try again.
Sure, I'll try now. Okay, all right, so can everyone see this?
I can see it, yep.
Okay, so this is when we were called Scholar Pro before, and I could discuss rebranding if anyone has any questions about that. But as you note here, in the minutes of CUSA, just showing some proof right now that the Vice President of Finance at the time did verify that we were able to help students get over $524,000 in funding. And that was just in a response to a survey that we had out of 1,500 students. Just over 100 students responded. So you can safely estimate, that at least a 1 or 1.5 million was won. And yeah, so that's the news there. And since we just received, so I'll just levies, from the university, we're going to be doing a lot more advertising to students to really educate them on the service. And the last thing here that I'll just point out about the value of the service, that once again, it's not, as Kathleen pointed out, it's not just about students getting money, it's about saving the money. So this right here is a service, it's called the Grant Editor. So an international student, a student with, dyslexia, or anyone who may have problems writing their application can submit their essay here for review. A real person will review it and send it back to them. Now, to get this service outside of FundKey, outside of the levy, you're looking at, you can Google this for a grant editor, it's like $39 to $50 or more per hour, and a student can use this as much as they want. We also, by the way, and I hope the counselors here will grant other students speaking rights. Here, I'm just gonna stop sharing because we do have a few students here to speak on their experience of FundKey, people who, real students here on campus that really appreciate this service. And also I would like to say to some of the counselors, we just checked and we saw some emails being written. Cameron Davis, if you're here, Ariana Cordini, Faraz, Olivia, Hamza, Mohammed, I apologize if I'm mispronouncing your name, Diafala. We just had a student who couldn't be here tonight who wrote an email to an engineering student on campus about her experience with FundKey. So please take the time to check your email. I don't know if other counselors have received any, but yeah, I hope that answers your question about some statistics. And the good news is there's a lot more coming next year. Yeah.
Okay. That was Greg, and that was Greg's follow-up, which means, Greg, just because you're not a member council, you may not be familiar with the rules. You are entitled to one more question after this and one more follow-up. Just so that we're all on the same page here.
Okay.
And after that, okay, cool. Also, we are not going to be going ahead with a bunch of students talking about their experiences at FundKey. That's not for the question period. The question period is a pointed question at someone. Unfortunately, it's not a public free-for-all like that. Next up on the list, Nathaniel Black, you have a question?
Yes, I do. I have two questions. My first question is for all the executives, as well as the executives of all of the other campus groups that are present. I mean, of course they can't answer, but let's just go with CUSA executives. Would you be able, before next Tuesday, to meet with me so that we can come up with a joint statement to send to the chair of the board, Dan 14, about opposing the proposal entitled Investment Policy Non-Endowed Funds, which, as I mentioned, sets aside $100 million, any amount of which can be used toward investments in the fossil fuel industry. Most importantly, included in that meeting, we'll discuss my amendment, my proposed amendment, seconded by the former chair of the Board of Governors, regarding including environmental protections to that. So essentially, will you partner with me to protect the best interests of students in order to oppose this motion at the Board of Governors and support my amendment, seconded by the former chair of the board?
So partner or have a meeting?
Hi,
Partner.
Nathaniel. I can answer first. On behalf of CUSA executives, we would be, as always, delighted to meet with you. So please reach out. And also, Tino and I are still looking forward to hearing your response from our request to meet with you regarding SRRP reform, which you brought up at our last council meeting. So whenever you'd like to schedule either of those meetings, just let us know.
Nathaniel, would you like to follow up your question?
Just particularly about your opposition. I believe even stating it for the record would be enough for me to mention in the board meeting next Tuesday. So would you be able to state for the record that you, as CUSA president, oppose the investment of $100 million?
That would be a
into
different
fossil fuels?
question and not a follow-up.
Okay, well, follow up,
Follow-up.
etc.
Nathaniel, before I make an official endorsement, I will have to look into a little bit more what you are proposing, but I will definitely do my due diligence and look into that and prioritize your request so we can sort this out before your Tuesday deadline.
Okay, that would be your second question then, and you can follow this up as well. Nathaniel, would you like to
Well, no
follow that up?
follow-up. I believe that was satisfactory. We can have a meeting and I'm sure we'll come to some sort of agreement.
Okay. All right, next up we have Nicholas. Maybe we don't have Nicholas.
Sorry, Ryan. What did you say?
Oh, maybe we do. Oh, there you go, Nicholas. Do you have your hand up? Do you have a question?
Oh, no. That's
fine. Happens all the time. All right, Greg, you have a second question?
All right, so my second question is going to be addressed to Zuberi one more time. And again, looking forward to working with you in a separate manner if that's what's going to be happening. I just wanted to ask you, so you mentioned that the opt-in numbers were close to 1,000. Would you be able to tell council how many people decided to opt out this year?
Zubari, would you like to respond?
Yeah, do I have, speaking rights or something like that?
Oh yeah, once granted, they're granted, don't worry.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, I don't have, the exact number with me with the students that opted out. But, there were a fair number of students that opted out, because, everyone did really, a lot of people did understand the opt-out process, so that's good. I would just have a question, for you, Greg. I'm just wondering if there's anything else that I could do to kind of quell these general.
You can respond to the question. You can't really ask another question.
Okay, I can't respond.
But if you would like to ask a question after this, that's also allowed.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so that's my answer then.
Okay, Greg, would you like a follow-up question?
Yep. So my follow-up question.
It's a follow-up to the question, I should say.
Follow-up to the question.
Yes,
sure.
Yes.
No problem. So all I can say to that is that it's very disappointing that you had the opt-in numbers on hand, but not the opt-out numbers. There are a lot of students, myself included, and I don't speak for all students, but I do believe that I'm representing the voice of many here.
This has to be a question.
Okay.
Not a statement.
I thought it was just a follow-up. Okay, question.
You can follow up for another question if you have more questions on the same topic, if that makes sense.
Okay, so follow-up, like it's a follow-up question to Zuberi?
Yes, so you asked if he had the exact numbers that he claims are close to 1,000, and he answered, and then you can ask for clarification, for instance, on the answer, something specific about that. It has to be related, yes.
Is there a specific...
I know it's confusing.
Okay, I'm sorry, I'm new to this. First year
No,
student.
that's fine, that's fine.
why were you able to give us the opt-in numbers but not the opt-out numbers?
Okay,
Respond
Zubair,
now?
would you like to respond? Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. And then I could have a question after if possible.
You were able to ask a question afterwards, yes.
Okay, awesome. So, so Greg, and the reason for that was because I just checked them today. So I just emailed my software technician. He looked in the database for me because I want to give you a transparent and honest and accurate answer. And actually, there were around 1,000 opt-outs as well. So almost even, yeah, if that answers your question. So, yeah, and I'm not exactly sure, you know, where you're trying to go with this, but I do have a follow-up question for Greg.
Okay, well, that was your response. So now you would like to ask a question?
Yeah, Greg, I noticed, so we understand that you created some sort of petition asking students for money, to create ads against FundKey. We also noticed that you were a mod, and we can connect these dots later, on Reddit, and you were harassing a lot of these students in this Reddit forum that you're operating are harassing students that are saying positive things on these FundKey reviews. So I can just ask Greg, why are you trying to attack students for using a scholarship service, and why are you asking students for money to use?
So so the claims should be verifiable.
Okay.
They have to be directed. It has to be a legitimate question. You cannot do a character attack, which is what you're doing right now. No ad hominems.
May I
Your question. That's I'll give you a quick response because that went on a little bit.
Sure.
Sure, I'll give you a quick one. But
Okay, as I said, I don't represent the views of the entire student community, and I most definitely do not represent the views or encourage anything of a libelous nature on an online forum. Forums like that, students are free to post as they would. And there was discussion of a campaign to raise money to advertise opt-out fees that students could opt out of, but that was canceled. So yeah, that answers the question. A lot of the claims you're making feel pretty, as Ryan said, unverifiable, and also
Okay.
a little bit targeted against a student. I personally have nothing against your company. My only issue is with students not being educated about these opt-in fund fees.
okay, so we're gonna leave that there. All right, so yeah, no ad hominems. It's got to be a real question. It can't be why don't you like me or why don't you like my product. That's not really a real question. It's all good, okay. I know, but
okay.
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 Alrighty.
I have. Oh, can I have one more question for Greg?
Yes. If anyone else has a question, you've kind of been pushed to the back of the line. It's got to be one after the other.
Sorry.
I don't think anyone else has any other questions. You are entitled to one more question. Yes.
Greg, I'm just wondering, would you be open to having a discussion outside of this? And I'm completely fine with having it public, and you can invite any students that you want on your behalf, and we can kind of discuss these concerns and really work together, to work towards something that will work for the long term. Is that something that you would be interested in, since, hey, you came out here and really wanted to speak about your experience? I really want to give you that avenue as well. Is this something that you'd want to do?
Greg, would you like to respond?
In an individual capacity, no, I would not like to have a meeting with someone that represents a company that is affiliated with CUSA that attacks first-year students in CUSA meetings. But in my capacity elsewhere,
lay off, guys. Cool down.
Sure. Okay, I don't. Okay, sorry you feel that way. Just okay. Okay.
Okay, Zubair, would you like to follow up?
Yes. Can it be to council in general, or just to him?
You can follow up and direct that towards someone else. Yes.
Oh, sorry, towards someone else, or just in general make like a final
So
statement?
your follow-up would have to be related to the question that you asked Greg, asking about a meeting, one-on-one, public or private.
Okay.
I'm not really
All
sure
right.
how you could direct that towards someone else, unfortunately.
Okay, I will have a last follow-up to Greg. So Greg, I'm sorry that you feel that way. Yeah, I know I brought that up earlier, and those things that I won't bring up again right now. And these are things that we can verify, but I'm sorry that you don't want to
This
have.
has to be a question. This has to be a question. So you're
Okay.
asking for so you asked him a question, he responded, you're asking for clarification. You're asking for clarification.
Clarification. Okay.
Yes.
Is there anyone that you would want to talk to about FundKey? Any students that have used the service? If you don't want to talk with the representative.
Perfect. Greg, would you like to respond?
Like I said, in an individual capacity, I'm not going to do that, but we've already opened up routes of communication through my affiliations with other student organizations, which again are completely unrelated to me being here at this meeting, that we'll see where that goes as for meetings.
Okay. And that was the follow-up. And that ends that question. Jacob Howell, you're next. Do you have a question?
Point of information, or I guess clarification. I think there is still like a misconception around the relationship that CUSA and FundKey have. I will use like student care as a perfect example. So like student care offers a service to Carleton. The way they had to go about coming on to campus or providing that service does not go through administration. It goes through CUSA Council. CUSA Council votes, and then that goes to the student body. CUSA as an organization has no ties to FundKey. We were just the means of the process for how any organization or any group or whatever that may be comes into campus. So I just want to like clarify that, because I think a lot of people, and I have seen online like a lot of honestly misrepresentation. So I just want to very clearly state like they are two separate bodies. There is no interaction between them in regards to like it's like the Charlatan as well. Like we're the pass-through for levies, but it's not like we get to have an influence on the Charlatan or what they write. I'm sure like again, like they could touch on that if they wanted. So just to very clearly state those lines are separate and that we do not have that affiliation.
Okay, thank you for that point of information. After that, Greg, I think you still have your hand up. Unfortunately, you've asked two questions, unless I'm mistaken. Put your hand down. After that, I see Jacob. Do you have another question? No? Well, Masab, you have a question.
Hi, Ryan. I'm not sure who to direct this question at, but I think it would be to you. Am I allowed to ask you a question?
Me specifically?
And, well, whoever can answer this best, either the execs or you.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. I can direct your question afterwards, yes.
Okay, I'm just wondering, I'm not sure if I missed it or if it was a point in the agenda, but I was just wondering at what capacity FundKey's representative Zuberi is here today. Was that something on the agenda that I missed that we were supposed to talk about, or is he just as a individual at large?
Sure, we can I can probably clarify that. That's Zuberi is an individual at large, so he's a student at large, but his company, while not directly affiliated with CUSA, as we just said, is relevant to the discussion. And just like how Greg is allowed to come out and talk as a student at large, Zuberi is also allowed to defend himself. Anyone that would like to clarify that on the executive, by all means.
Yeah, I would just simply add any student can ask a question, those questions deserve answers, and that's just kind of what's going on.
There we go.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Okay. All right, it's been a very big question period. Do I see any other questions? Masab, do you have another question? I see your hand still up.
No, sorry, Ryan. I'm just going to lower it now.
It's all good. Greg, sorry, I see your hand went back up. So additionally, we're allowed 2 questions per person. Okay, hand went back down. Okay, I see no more questions. That's good. All right, we are going to move on now to other business. We have 3 motions tonight that we're looking to pass. And Farouk, would you like to scroll down to the first motion of the night? All right. The motion to fill the Electoral Review Committee. Presentation summary, whereas CUSA Council created this committee to draft a report to Council outlining A, general issues with the conduct of the election or referendum discovered by the committee, B, trends in turnout, C, logistical challenges encountered during the electoral process, D, issues raised by candidates and voters, E, any other matters relevant to CUSA's democratic process. Information transfer, be it resolved that CUSA Council elect an electoral review committee to be composed of A, 2 students at large, and B, at least 2 members of council. Moved by Farouk Al-Muflahi, seconded by Jacob Howell. Farouk, would you like to motivate?
Yeah, I'll briefly explain this again. We struck this last month. I think last month, to just give you counselors some time to think about it and some time for us to find some students at large. Fortunately, we were unable to find some students at large. Basically, like this committee, kind of Ryan already explained it, but your kind of main role would be just to analyze and just look at the elections that are run for this year, and then at the end of it, you kind of just give your opinion, what worked, what didn't work, and then you present that to the council, and then we use that information for the years to come. That's basically what it is.
Okay. So we have no students at large that have come forward looking for the position, like Farouk said. We are looking for 2 members of council. If anyone would like to elect themselves or another student, motivate another student for the position, now would be the time. All right, I see none. Counselors, it is your responsibility to help fill these roles. Make sure that you are doing that as part of your duties. Motion to table, all in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, motion tabled. Moving on to the next motion of the night. Motion to strike the electoral board for the 2021 through 2022 CUSA general election. Presentation summary, whereas in section 6.1 of the CUSA electoral code states that for every election, recall, or referendum, there shall be an electoral board. Whereas section 6.2 states that the electoral board shall be convened by CUSA Council no later than the day of the presentation of the writ of election, recall, or referendum. Whereas section 6.4I sets out the restrictions as to whom can sit on the board to no one who currently holds a position on CUSA Council or in the executive, or who expects to be a candidate for such a position during the term of the electoral board may hold the position of member therein. Information transfer, be it resolved that CUSA Council strike the electoral board with the following composition. A, the chair being the Carleton University ombudsperson. B, the members being 5 individuals appointed by CUSA Council. Be it further resolved that CUSA Council approve an honorarium of $50 per board member. This has been moved by Farouk Al-Muflahi, seconded by Jacob Howell. Farouk, would you like to motivate?
Yeah, again, it's another elections committee. Unfortunately, this one, no counselors can sit on it. But counselors, if you do know anyone who is interested in just getting involved, maybe boosting up the resume a bit, please let them know that we have these openings. And like stated, if they are on this committee, they're just not allowed to be involved within the elections or promote anyone running in the elections, just so they are unbiased as possible. But that's about it. So really next month is the month that we have to 100% get this filled. So I've been trying. It's been hard to get some students to get on this committee. So I need your help. I need your help, counselors. So please pass on the word and let's fill this committee. And Ryan, last thing, I don't have anyone who reached out to join this committee. So unless someone's here in the council, I don't think we have anybody.
Okay. Some issues sometimes. On the off chance that someone does have someone they would like to motivate for the position, now would be the time. And I see no one. Okay, no, that's fine. Motion to table, all in favor?
Oh, Ryan,
Yes?
I believe some people were actually here.
You
I
may be
don't want to.
thinking of, okay.
No, actually, never mind. I read wrong. It's cool.
Okay. Okay, motion to table, 1, 2, 3. So I know it's been going on for a little while here, folks, but we actually don't have the required number of votes to table. So we can not table it, but unless we can find 5 people to do this, we're going to be here a long time. So I was going to reiterate here, make sure everyone's paying attention. Motion to table, all in favor? Great. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Motion has been tabled. Moving on to the final motion of the night. There we go. The motion to fill the Executive Compensation Review Committee. Presentation summary, whereas bylaw 4.3.6 reads that the Executive Compensation Review Committee shall A, undertake a thorough review of the executive compensation, B, make use of all relevant information from outside organizations, C, include in its research all relevant information from within the association and corporation, including but not limited to the budget, audited financial statements, and archived reports submitted by both the Financial Review Committee and the Executive Compensation Committee. D, the committee shall present its report and recommendations for adjustments to council no later than the November meeting to be ratified by CUSA Incorporated. E, submit a final copy of the report to both the Vice President of Finance and the CUSA Finance Manager. And whereas bylaw 4.3.5 reads the composition of the Executive Compensation Review Committee shall be as follows. A, 3 constituency representatives appointed by council. B, 3 students at large appointed by council. C, either the finance manager or general manager of CUSA. D, the vice president of finance. And whereas bylaw 4.3.7.1 reads, CUSA Council shall no later than the December meeting make a final decision regarding the recommendations of the Executive Compensation Review Committee. CUSA Council shall, in both a meeting of the association and the corporation, put forth their final decisions as a motion for the upcoming term. Information transfer, be it resolved that the Executive Compensation Review Committee be struck for the 2020 through 2021 school year. Be it further resolved that the following committee positions be elected. A, 3 students at large. Moved by Farouk Al-Muflahi, seconded by Jacob Howell. That was a mouthful. Farouk, would you like to motivate?
Again, it's another committee that we got to fill. Basically, this committee will be doing the research and the due diligence to determine just the exact compensation for the year of 2021, 2022. And we do have the councils filled out. I know we have 3 students at large here tonight to present themselves for these positions. That is all.
Okay. That's fine. First of all, motion to strike for the 2020 through 2021 school year. All in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, motion passes. Now we're looking for 3 students at large for the position. We have some that are here. If I recall, we have 1. So this would be the time. If anyone would like to motivate themselves or another student for the position, now's the time. You have to be a student at large.
Hi,
Right.
am I allowed to talk? Do I need speaking rights to talk?
You do, yes. So Andrea and Mohammed, are you also looking to run?
Sorry, Ryan, I forgot
Nope.
to lower my
Hands
hand.
down. It's all good. Okay.
I'm
So
also looking to run. I don't know. Sorry.
okay, it's fine. It's fine. I know it's the online format. It's weird. Okay. We have Andrea. Oh, sorry. So if you want to run, just put your hand up, and if you don't know how to do that, let me know.
Yeah, I don't know how to do that.
That's okay. You know what? Now that I look at it, neither do I. I've never had to do it. Drew, how do you put your hand up in the software?
You just, I can answer that, Ryan.
Perfect. Save the day.
Or no worries. If you go on participants, if you're on your laptop and then you see your name, you should either have invite, mute me, raise hand. If that's not an option, you should get more on when you go on your name and then be able to raise hands. I see you just got it. So Ryan, if you
Perfect.
got it.
All right, thank you.
No worries.
Okay, we've got two. Okay, so Andrea and Mira. Okay, that's a good motion to grant. Andrea speaking rights. All in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? Great, motion passes. Motion to grant Mira speaking rights. All in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, motion passes. All right, so what we're going to do here then is if we could have each of you, it doesn't matter to me which one goes first. Let's go with Mira, and I feel like we lost somebody. Did somebody put their hand down? That was Mira and Andrea, was it? Yes, okay, good. Mira and Andrea. Yep.
Sorry, just for you to double check, one of the people who wanted to I guess vote for this or speak on their behalf has just raised up their hands. They just had technical difficulties before. So if you could please just refer back to the raised hand list. Thank you.
Yep, sure, that's no problem. I'm seeing 4 raised hands right now. Is it Mackenzie? Would you like to motivate someone?
Nope, sorry.
Nope. Nope. For you. Ayokunmi, is that you? Would you like to motivate someone?
Hi, am I allowed to talk? I'm not sure how this goes.
Are you a council member or proxying for someone?
No, I'm a student at large.
Oh, you're student at large. Okay, yep. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so we've got 3 in total, and 3 students at large that want to run. Okay. Motion to grant Ayokunmi speaking rights. All in favor? Great. Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, motion passes. Okay, so we have 3 students at large. We're looking for 3 students. It's a good number. So what we're going to do is each of you is going to give just a short, concise little speech, a minute or 2. It doesn't have to be long, about why you think you're going to be good to sit on the Executive Compensation Review Committee. And we'll start in the order that I see you. So how about Mira? Are you comfortable with starting?
Yeah, I can go. So hi, everybody. My name's Mira Gillis. I'm a first-year Public Affairs and Policy Management student. So I really want to be a part of this committee because I think I'd really serve as a representative of first years and just putting the best interests of students at Carleton forward. A couple of things that I'm currently doing that I think would really help me out in this position are that I'm currently a raw counselor on the Constitution Policy Review Committee, as well as the COVID Committee. And then I'm also a CBC Ottawa student correspondent for Carleton. So in both of these roles, I provide non-biased information, and as well as representing the students at Carleton and their needs currently, as well as just demonstrating the student experience throughout COVID and just the year in general. So I'd really like to be a part of this committee. I think it's really important to have students at large be represented. And yeah, that's just a bit about me and why I want to be a part of the committee.
Great. Thank you. Ayokunmi, you're next if you'd like to give a short speech.
Yeah, so my name is Ayokunmi Akimbello. I am a 4th year students at Carleton. I major in psychology and I minor in biology. I am a volunteer at the food center. I don't really have much experience with this committee, but I am willing to help the Carleton community in any way I can. That's all I have to say.
That's great. Okay, thank you. And Andrea, would you like to give a concise little speech about why you think you'd be good?
So my name's Andrea Polgarin. I am a second year student doing a double major in journalism and law with a minor in English literature. I think I'd be a good option for the committee because I've been on multiple CUSA clubs before and I kind of see what CUSA is trying to do for the student population. And I do think that there is a lot of importance in rewarding students for their hard work, especially that they're serving the rest of the students. So I'll definitely be taking different factors into consideration and be as unbiased as possible when making decisions with the rest of the committee. And at the end of the day, I think we can all agree that we just want students' money to be used in the best way possible.
Okay, great, thank you. We're going to open up for question periods. Anyone who has a question, and 3 candidates, please leave your hands up. But anyone else who has a question, just raise your hand. That question must be directed towards all of the candidates. Are there any questions? That's not a question. Sounds pretty hype though. All right, Farouk may be undergoing technical difficulties. Who knows what happened there? I see no questions. Unfortunately, I don't know if Farouk is going to be able to put you 3 in a waiting room right now.
No, I am.
You're live? Okay. Can you put the 3 candidates in the waiting room?
You're good to go.
Fantastic. All right, would anyone like to speak on any of the candidates' behalfs? Just put your hand up. Jay, you'd like to speak?
Yeah, I just wanted to speak for Mira. She's on Raw Counselor, and she's on 2 of my council committees, the COVID-19 committee and Constitution and Policy Review Committee. And she's been doing great work and is a great leader. So I think she'd be a great fit for the position.
Great, thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to speak on behalf of any of the candidates? Noor, go ahead.
Thanks, Ryan. I want to speak on behalf of Kumi. I've seen her hard work put in volunteering for the food center during the pandemic. I know they've been getting a lot of deliveries and food hampers being done, and all the volunteers working there have been putting such great initiative towards, food center is registered as a food bank in Ottawa, so all that hard work going in despite the pandemic and being a student. She serves her community very well. So that's what I have to say. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to speak on behalf of Sarah? Go ahead.
I think I want to speak on behalf of all of them. I think they would add different variant, what's it called, traits and stuff. I like the fact that we have a first year that would join. I also like the fact that we have someone who is not very active, but is looking to get active with council and add something to it. So I want to speak on behalf of all of them saying I think they should all be in.
All right, thank you. Is there anyone else? All right, I see no one. We're going to begin with the voting. 3 candidates, 3 positions open, same thing as usual. You can vote up to 3 times or none, right? It's set up so if you would like to abstain on any of the candidates specifically, just don't vote for them and click the abstain option. If you don't like any of them, you can click abstain 3 times. If you like all of them, you can vote for all of them. And if that doesn't work, just let me know there. I just pasted the link in the chat.
Ryan, can you tell me if you can see my screen changing? so no one sees me.
I cannot see your screen changing.
Thank you.
It's all good. All right, so I'm not seeing a lot of votes. I know it's been a long night, but this is literally the last vote of the night. After this, we're done. We can just get everybody to please vote. All right, perfect. Results are in. All three of the candidates got in.
What?
That's great. All right, those are the results. All in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, motion passes. Motion to destroy ballots. All in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, motion passes. Farouk, if you can invite the candidates back into the room.
Okay, they're back here. Well, they're joining now. They're back in.
Okay. All right, congratulations. You all got in. You now all sit on the Executive Compensation Review Committee. Congratulations. Yeah, I think everybody's clear on that. Okay. Now that was the final motion of the night. All right. After that, we are officially done. With that said, motion to adjourn. All in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, motion passes. Thanks for coming out.
That's another one done.
Is this the last one until after the break?
Nope, we have one in December. I'm probably gonna try to do it in upcoming, probably. I'll shoot you guys an email, but it's gonna be one in December. I'm trying to do it early December. I know it's gonna be very close to this one, but I'd rather do it early December than the last week of school when you guys are busy with the last classes, studying for exams, and your late last minute assignments. So bear with me. We're just gonna be dropping the writ and presenting the audit.
See you guys. Have a good night.
Thanks, Liam. Take care.
Have a good night.
Today.
Yeah, thanks everyone. I know there was a lot that happened today, so if you have any concerns, please reach out. Definitely want to address anyone who feels a type of way. And thank you to the people who stepped up to join a committee. We really need you, so thank you. Please reach out to your friends for the electoral review committee. That will be, I'm sure, very interesting.
Is Emily or Emma here? Was it Emily that was saying she's good at Chell? Where's Piers?
Yeah, Emily was saying she was good at Chell.
Emily saying she's good at Chell?
Yo, it's good. I'll smoke you. I've said nothing all meeting, but like I'm here.
Emily, I will crush you, Chell, bro. Don't even.
No.
You're lucky our next.
Bar down ski all day, yeah? Snipe a big old cheddar bingo bar south, okay?
What is that? What?
Was that English? Be honest.
What language are you speaking, bro?
Never